Ever since I found out Harriet Tubman is not a real person.
Hey guys, so we gotta talk. They're out here lying again, saying Harriet Tubman wasn't even real. Talking like our history didn't happen, like our people didn't fight, bleed, and survive through it all. This isn't just about one lie, it's about trying to erase all of us. And I need you to hear me when I say this. Don't let white supremacy or anybody else make you doubt your roots. Don't let them dumb you down or twist your mind into hate. That's what they want. Our history is real, our heroes were real, and it's up to us to tell the truth, to our people, to our kids, to the next generation. So I want to show you something. Watch this, and really think about what's going on.
If you see this video come up on your page and this lady tells you that Harriet Tubman was not a real person, block that. Stupid hostility to verifiable reality is something that Timothy Snyder talks about in On Tyranny, that I think is a book that everybody should read. I can tell when you don't read versus when you're misinformed versus when you're ignorant to some things that happen throughout history, right? One of the things that I've realized when it comes to Black people is that y'all love to feed into conspiracies because you think that every single piece of white media is feeding you a conspiracy, and that is a form of tyranny. Okay, so getting on here and saying that Harriet Tubman was not a real person. This book highlights the importance of critical thinking, something that lacks in a lot of you, something that everybody in that fucking comment section that's agreeing saying that Harriet Tubman is not a real person lacks. You lack critical thought, you lack critical thinking. There are not worms in your brain, it's piranhas. There's nothing left. Always starts with, but y'all not ready for that conversation. We're on a higher level, we're on a higher frequency. Whatever frequency you on, shut it off. Shut it up! Like Pocahontas, Harriet Tubman's life is shrouded in multiple myths and exaggerations, right? Like, one of the things that I really had to discuss when talking about the Underground Railroad is that she was not the one that created the railroad, and she was not the only one a part of it, right? That's very important because there were many people that were against slavery and many people that were trying to help slaves become free, right? But saying that she just wasn't a real person altogether, I think sometimes most of the time with these conspiracy theories, especially when it surrounds Black or brown figures, y'all can't fathom the fact that Black people fought back against the system and won. So you have to create this racist fan fiction, and then you have other people, Black people really, that will sit here and feed off. Like, you guys are I gotta go. Y'all was getting on here saying that Harriet Tubman was punching babies. You remember that one Boondocks episode where Tom got possessed by this demon, and then Uncle Ruckus came in and said, read. That's what y'all need to do. I feel like y'all scream when y'all see a book.
I'm not surprised people don't think Harriet Tubman is real, because I once had to defend that my father was real in an African American studies class. Hi, I'm Mackenzie, daughter of civil rights icon Ernest Green, and yeah, I once had to defend in a college level African American studies class that the timeline and understanding of the civil rights movement in relationship to the slave abolition movement were not the same thing.
So apparently we reached the part of digital delusion where people are out here saying that Harriet Tubman wasn't real. And honestly, I should have known we were headed here, right? Because the moment you start telling the real truth about Black resistance, somebody always tries to rewrite the ending, but this time, they picked the wrong one, all right? Let me make this real simple. Harriet Tubman was a real person. I think the problem is that a lot of them just can't fathom the idea that a disabled Black woman who couldn't read, lived with seizures, and was born into bondage, still outsmarted the system multiple times over. So instead of sitting with that, y'all default to, oh, well, she must be a myth. Because God forbid someone exists outside the mold that you've been spoon-fed. So let's run this back. She was born Araminta Ross in Maryland. Yeah, she was enslaved. She took a blow to the skull from her overseer that nearly killed her. And when she escaped in her 20s, she could have stayed gone. But she didn't. She went back again and again and walked more than 70 people to freedom. And no, she didn't float on vibes. She knew the signs, the land, the networks. She carried a gun. She told people, you'll be free or you'll be dead. Pick one. But wait, there's more. She worked with John Brown. She served as a Union spy and led the Coombe River Raid in 1863, freeing over 700 people in a single night. But sure, she's a myth. Because clearly a black woman doing the impossible must mean it didn't happen, right? Y'all will believe in talking snakes, cherry trees, and founding fathers who somehow love liberty while owning people. But you draw the line at Harriet Tubman. Make it make sense. So here's the real issue. Harriet didn't just escape. She turned around and made herself the nightmare of the slave-holding South. She was strategic, ruthless, and brilliant. But apparently y'all aren't ready for that version. So no, I'm not going to debate her existence. But what I will do is say this. If Harriet Tubman feels too real to be real, that says more about your imagination than it ever will about her. She lived, she freed, she wrecked the entire system with her own bare hands. And that's what you're trying to erase.
Ever since I found out Harriet Tubman is not a real person. Yeah, not gonna lie.
I'm about to show y'all some very real records involving Harriet Tubman.
Because her real name is Araminta Ross. And she was a spy for the United States government. Her real name, Araminta, is not connected to the Harriet Tubman. And they want us to look up and idolize these people. Oh, well, they look just like me, so I must look up to them. Stop that shit immediately.
My name is Walt. I'm the founder of the Bristol English Project, a nonprofit that helps descendants of American chattel slavery with our genealogy. Keep it a being with y'all. The fact that we have to defend Harriet Tubman's existence in 2025 with things like the Boston Herald, May 31st, 1905, with me showing that she attended Colonel Shaw's funeral.
Because if they're talking about it, raving about this person's bravery, don't trust it. They probably over black.
Not only do we have access to letters that she wrote, but also letters between other abolitionists that mentioned her.
When you start lying about history to fit your narrative, that to me automatically should be a war.
We're going to jump over the newspapers now because people are going to argue the military records due to them being government, and then they only think white abolitionists exist, so that conversation is going to halt there. Let's look at the New York Age, New York City, August 3rd, 1911. Conference held in Brooklyn last week. New York women give Harriet Tubman financial aid. That is another conversation that we will have in a separate video. Rutland Daily Herald, March 29th, 1913. Moses of Negroes is dead. Harriet Tubman Davis, most remarkable woman of race. The Baltimore Sun, March 13th, 1913. The Sun, from the place so nice they had to name it twice, May 2nd, 1909. Y'all seriously think a whole country wrote about a fictional character for decades? I honestly believe some people would take that route. We know with historical context, Harriet Tubman led a lot of black people to where? Canada. And you can see right here, she has some letters at the post office out there. Kingston, Ontario, Canada, May 15th, 1897. Miss Harriet Tubman once called the Moses of her people, and for whose head slave owners offered a reward of 40 bands, is in Boston. And I also think people who make claims like this don't realize the entire world has had its eyes on the U.S. for a very long time.
Yeah, if they were published in American history and it was black history, they were spies, bro. They've been trafficking people. Underground. It's all underground.
New day, new clothes on the same shit, though. That kind of anti-intellectual talking point, that kind of thinking leads to things like this.
Finally, someone's talking about it, because I just was saying this the other day to someone. Hear me out. That shit does not make any sense. Why would you be taking slaves underground in tunnels?
Yeah, she said that. A lot of people believe that Harriet Tubman created the Underground Railroad, was the only person on the Underground Railroad. What am I talking about? People talking about Harriet Tubman didn't even exist. Oh, so y'all definitely don't know who William Still is, right? As it says, most historians, including my Still's Underground Railroad, published out in Philly in 1872, the most primary source available on the subject. If you want to read this primary source for yourself, Project Gutenberg has the book for free. And if you don't want to read through all of this, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to read this, but there's also the McGowan Index to William Still's Underground Railroad. You can download the Excel file right there. And right here, you can see everything, like enslaved people who ran away in chains, their age, their color, ran away, where they ran away from, the person that they ran away with, how they got away. You don't have to look hard to find Harriet Tubman in his book or on this list. I also added brand new resources, and some I'm going to add after this video, which involves Canada. But you don't think HBCUs Harriet Tubman in any form or fashion? Not a single one. I swear that y'all are trying so god hard to be different. You're sounding just like.
You see, the reason I like to look backwards when everyone else looks forwards is because I think there's little tiny secrets in our history that have changed our entire human perspective.
And I already heard you can't trust the sources from these institutions. What about black folks? You don't trust the black folks that lived during that time either? A lot of the resources I showed y'all today are available for free in my database of resources. It requires people to read. It requires people to do actual resources, because in an age of information where this exists, the fact that we are still defending Harriet Tubman's existence, not even still, this is the first time I ever had to do this, is ridiculous. Go love yourself and donate to the Bristol English Project.
Because if the government is hiring these actors, pretending to do good in the community, and they're actually doing harm, that's very harmful.
Some of y'all are doing white supremacy's job for free, and it needs to stop. Let's break this down. Spreading lies about Harriet Tubman being fake because her birth name was Araminta Ross? That's just not false. It's reckless. Listen, I changed my last name when I got married. Does that mean I stopped being myself? Of course not. Changing a name doesn't erase who you are, your legacy, or your purpose. Harriet Tubman was real, courageous, and strategic. She wasn't some government spy betraying black people. She risked her life working with the Union Army during the Civil War, fighting to end slavery. She led the Combahee River Raid, freeing over 700 enslaved people in one night. That's not rumor or a myth. It's documented history. And Sojourner Truth, born Isabella Humphrey, wasn't a spy either. She was an abolitionist and a woman's rights advocate, traveling the country and preaching openly against slavery and injustice. She didn't hide, she stood boldly in the light. When grown black folks choose to spread these lies, you're actively helping white supremacy erase and rewrite our history. Our stories and our ancestors' legacies are already under attack from every angle. Schools removing black history, politicians censoring our truths. Everyone watching this video right now holds a smartphone, a powerful tool for knowledge in their hands. Ignorance is a deliberate choice at this point. Spreading misinformation doesn't just hurt our history, it actively contributes to our community's humiliation and marginalization. We have to protect our history fiercely, speak the truth loudly, and refuse to participate in our own erasure.
I once was having a conversation and the person said something wild to me. They said Harriet Tubman was a sellout. And I'm like, what? How was Harriet Tubman a sellout? And they said because instead of taking the people to Africa, she took the freed slaves up north where they could continue to suffer within this system. I'm like, okay, I guess I could see how you came to that conclusion, but how was Harriet Tubman supposed to get people to Africa with her life position and her amount of resources? How? And the fact of the matter is, Harriet Tubman did her job. It was other people's responsibility to build on top of it. Now, that sounds like common sense, but it's not so much because we still do the same thing today, but oftentimes it's to our own parents, especially black people. Dang, why my parents ain't have no house set up for me? Oh, why I got student loans? Oh, why they ain't invest in the stock market? Oh, why my family don't have no resources? All this stuff, right? But we rarely take a moment to ask, what position did my parents come from? Metaphorically speaking, a lot of your parents were too busy making sacrifices to get you off the plantation. They didn't have time to study the stock market on the Underground Railroad. That's your job now.
Listen, my people, I need you to hear me when I say this. Our history is not a rumor. Our leaders were not myths. Our truth is not up for debate. We're living in a time where lies are louder than ever, and folks are getting bold with the disrespect. They're saying Harriet Tubman didn't exist, that she was made up, a fictional character. And some of y'all are starting to repeat it, not because you believe it, but because this system has done such a good job at making us doubt our own reflection. But let me be clear, this is not about Harriet Tubman alone. This is about a war on truth, a war on black memory, a war on us. And it's happening in plain sight. They want to whitewash your mind. They want you confused, lost, divided. They want you to laugh at your own ancestors, to second-guess your roots, because if you don't know where you come from, you won't know where you're going. And if they can make you forget, or worse, make you ashamed, then they've won. But they don't get to win, not here, not on my watch. You heard my brothers and sisters in this video. You saw how real this is. We know our truth, and you can know it too. All we have to do is read, research, explore, Think. The truth is not hidden. It's just ignored. It's in books. It's in articles. It's in newspapers that date back over 100 years. It's documented. It's recorded. It's available for your eyes to read and for your mind to understand. They don't want you to know that. They want you to believe history is some giant conspiracy. But what they're really trying to do is make you forget your power. Let me speak directly to the young lady who said she feels messed up because someone told her to look up to Harriet Tubman. Sis, I need you to hear me. You are not messed up. They are. You should absolutely look up to Harriet Tubman. You should study her moves, learn how she thought, feel what she felt. And more than that, you should be thinking right now about how you can be just as bold, just as courageous, just as revolutionary as she was. Because we need new Harriets. We need you to pick up where she left off. Harriet Tubman did her job. She ran back into danger to bring others to freedom. She risked it all, not once, not twice, but over and over again. Now the question is, what are you going to do? You see, they want us stuck wondering if she was real, while they're out here trying to erase every trace of her. But here's the truth. Harriet Tubman is more real than most of the people lying on her name. She's more real than the politicians who erase her from textbooks, more real than the TikTok historians who never opened a book, more real than these internal white supremacists who wear our skin but spit their poison in our community. Let me tell you something. The internet is powerful, but it's also dangerous. Anyone can upload a lie. Anyone can go viral by making you doubt your legacy, but you owe it to yourself, your family, and your future kids to go deeper than the scroll. Pick up a book. Go to the library. Look up the archives. Read the old newspaper articles. Read the slave narratives. Read the first-hand accounts. Harriet Tubman isn't just real. She's documented. She's in government records, military files, first-hand testimonies. People who knew her wrote about her. People who fought beside her recorded her bravery. You can never erase our history because it was carved in courage and sealed in blood. You can't whitewash something that was written in pain, in triumph, in survival. So no, this isn't just about setting the record straight. This is about protecting the soul of our people. This is about saying, we will not let you lie on our name. We will not let you teach our babies that their ancestors were imaginary. We will not let you dumb us down to make yourself feel comfortable. To my people watching, this is your call to action. Don't just believe me. Go read for yourself. Go find the truth. Go study the history they don't want you to know, because once you know it, they can't take it from you. Once you stand in it, they can't move you. And once you speak it, others will wake up too. Let's stop waiting for permission to be proud of who we are. Let's stop letting these trolls and fake scholars gaslight us about our own ancestors. We come from Harriet Tubman. We come from truth tellers, freedom fighters, warrior spirits. And we honor them not just by remembering, but by continuing the work. So if you're still wondering whether Harriet Tubman was real, ask yourself this instead. What are you doing that would make your descendants proud to say your name 150 years from now? Because Harriet's story is not just about the past. It's a challenge to the present. It's a blueprint for the future. And I'll say it loud and clear. I love Harriet Tubman. I honor her courage. I thank her for everything she endured, and I will keep her memory alive for the rest of my life. Because if we don't do that, who will? If this video spoke to you, don't let it stop here. Like, share, and drop a comment below telling me what you found in your research. Let's build something real together. And to Harriet Tubman, we see you, we love you, and we thank you.